going on, guys? It's Greg Farley from the Wiseguys, and I'm here with the first video of this week. You know, I try to at least post out daily content, but we've been getting the Dragon Ball Super stuff going. We got a few deck profiles from our Dragon Ball Super team. Shout out to Thomas. He's the one behind the video editing for that. Very good, very sharp. But in jumping straight into the reason why you tune into this video, make sure you tell everybody about the page. YG, baby. YG Nation. Wiseguys. Wiseguys. But I wanted to talk about Crusadia. Crusadia. This set is terrible. You remember I said that. This set is terrible. It was terrible. I didn't spend a dime on it. I actually did buy singles, you know, but I bought Crusadia singles. So I spent $13 for this set. That's how much I cared about this set. So I spent less than I spent about the price of a structure deck on this set. That's what I thought about this set. But I did spend them on Equimax and the rest of the Crusadia stuff. So I had to ask myself, why did I want to play this deck? I wanted to play it for a little bit because I need a break sometimes from Sky Striker. When you play one of the top decks, sometimes you just want to kick back at the locals and just laugh. Have fun, you know. If you're not having fun with this game, you know, plus people get too hung up on it. Is this meta? Is this meta? I think anything can beat anything if you know what you're doing. You know, we have guys that play despots at locals, and if you don't know what you're doing against despots, you're gonna lose quickly and badly. And that's why I like this deck, because you will lose quickly if you don't give it its due diligence and at least research as to why people are starting to pick it up. They're picking it up because it's cheap, but people are playing it because it's a cheap pop win. You know, it's kind of like that Yosenju family type thing, except this deck is better than Yosenju will ever be, to be honest. You know, it has defense. It has a tiny bit of recursion. Recursion is its weakness, is that it can't quite recur, but that's what they made Crusadia Draco as we get into our first card. Crusadia Draco is a definite way to recur back your plays, whether it's doing it for this turn or in unison with the trap card, Crusadia Vanguard. There's a little combo there where you can take a monster off the board, special summon him from the grave or the deck, special him, and then get back a card. And then that way, if you need to go off again the next turn, you maybe have a small possibility of doing so. It touching on some of the other cards, as they all, you know that they all special summon in defense. I don't think I need to go over that. You know, they special summon themselves. You do need your normal summon. That would be the deck's weakness. But Crusadia Reclusia. Reclusia is like it's like Breaksword, and Ningirsu had a son, which, you know, it's 2018. But Reclusia is a Breaksword type effect on summon, which is very interesting because you can pick any Crusadia card, and having a little spot removal mixed in there is very interesting. It adds a little dimension to the deck. Obviously, you have the cover boy himself, Crusadia Maximus. You know, it's Avram. I don't know why he is 2000 normal guy, but then when he gets armor, if you follow the lore at all, he like finds some armor and he gets weaker and stronger somehow. But I guess, you know, that's neither here nor there. But he's the guy that gives the monster the ability to do double battle damage, which is very, very key. You know, this deck has a way of making Equimax come off like Chaos Max Dragon in a more consistent way. You know, Ritual Summon isn't all that consistent unless you're playing Necros. But Crusadia Maximus is the reason why the deck works and why you would want to play the deck. It's a OTK based deck. It's Mermailish, Yosenju-ish. It's in that family of decks that are trying to go and go now. Then we have Crusadia Leonis. Leonis also adds an element of being able to stun your opponent. Not the card itself. It gives your things trample or piercing in Yu-Gi-Oh terms. I'm thinking about Magic sometimes, but when you have cards in the meta like Scapegoat, Leonis can be a very, very powerful card because it can OTK through things because it's giving your link monsters the ability to trample, pierce, and when you have that, you have an interesting third dimension to go. Plus, he's a level 3 Earth, and that's why we're touching on him. He's a level 3 Earth. You can go into Rescue Cat plays with him and Elephant, him and Veil Fawn. He's the little beast deer Bambi looking thing. Any level 2 tuner, you know, TG Striker. Not sure how that would work quite so much. If you're going second, you're not going to make Nat Beast, but just a few options here or there. You can make Nat Beast with the guy. You know, you can Rescue Cat into 2 of him himself. That's kind of strong. You know, one, he's a normal by himself, and it's like, why wouldn't you can play Rescue Cat. That's what I'm trying to get into. If you don't know what Rescue Cat is, it'll roll across your screen. And then Crusadia Ouroboros, she's the one that makes the deck possible. Like, possible. There's playable. Maximus makes it playable. Ouroboros makes it possible. If you don't have defense, you don't have anything in this game. You know, Madolche, she's like the hoot cake for the deck, in the sense that it's a tiny bit of defense. Now that doesn't matter anymore, but you know, what are you going to do? Crusadia Ouroboros protects from the graveyard and allows the deck to not have to recur, last till the next turn, and if you can last to the next turn, that OTK may be there. It may not, but it may be there. Most of the time it's going to be there. But when you get her into the grave, she's the #1 thing that you want to get into play and out of play quickly. She'd be the #1 target for that. So that's the 5 main deck monsters. And going into the spells and traps, I talked about Vanguard already. Its ability to special summon and protect from the graveyard by bringing a monster from the graveyard, it's very strong. It's a very strong card. It can protect, bring a monster from the grave or the deck. And when I say protect, I mean being able to shift monsters on and off the field, and then have your links protect them. As you said, Reclusia is a break sword, so if you can break sword somebody and then be protected from losing him off of the field, or you know, losing the ability to double attack next turn, you can tribute off Ouroboros if she's pointing at something, put her into the graveyard, and go off from there, protect, you know, twice. You know, it's a very strong card. You obviously have Crusadia Revival. That's the field spell. You know, I'm doing the kind of after the fact thing. I know you guys have seen it on YouTube for months about what Crusadia can do, but now that it's here, I think it's good to have a video to say, hey, pay attention to this deck. That's what my goal is from this video. Crusadia Revival gets 500 and basically turns any link that you're attacking with into Purgatrio, and you all know how much I love Purgatrio. I don't think it's a 3 of. I think it's just a card that you search, you activate it, you go off, you kill them if it's there. And then obviously you have Crusadia Power, which is Void Seer for them. It allows you to protect from hazards that you can't deal with. You know, if it's a Widow Anchor, if a Widow Anchor would have screwed your turn over, well, not anymore. You activate Crusadia Power. It's Void Seer or Forbidden Lance. It's that, but it's for everything, so it's more like Void Seer. This card is strong, but I still don't think that's a 3 of either. I don't think any of the spells and traps are 3 ofs. I think you're bricking if you're doing that. I do think the deck needs Called by the Graves. We're just having fun at locals this weekend. I think a few of us on the team are actually playing the deck. Should be interesting. I'm not gonna go into that much detail, but I do think that there is 4, 5, 6 variants, which is just interesting. And I do think Pinpoint Landing can somehow fit into this deck. I got to see it firsthand in opening some boxes and playing some test games and playing online. You know, there's some different ways to take this deck, and I always like a deck that you don't have to play one certain way. You know, I'm a avid Cosmo player, and getting into the Link monsters. The Link monsters, Magius allows you to search the monster, and it's the one that you can just drop. He takes one Crusadia monster. Regulex allows you to search the spells and traps. These 2 cards allow you to chain block or be blocked by other cards. You know, if you can chain block with Chainlink 1, Reclusia, Chainlink 2, this. You know, there's, you know, I could go down the list of all the monsters. Being able to chain block allows you to play around Ash. So this deck can play around Ash rather well. It can't play around impermanence very much at all, unless, you know, if you're trying to set up and you just get stopped, then okay. You know, if they go second and then they open and then they activate impermanence and then they start playing, you have to negate it with Equimax, as we're about to get into him. But he definitely is something. I mean, I'm sorry to touch back on that. There's a few hand traps that are a problem. You know, Ghost Ogre's a bigger problem. You know, because at a certain point, Regulex has to do its thing by himself. And then that's where the deck kind of runs into a problem. But Goki has that same type of problem. You know, even though that's with Firewall, it still has the same type of problem where you have to chain block to protect yourself. Equimax is the reason why the deck exists and why it is a thing. He is one of the stupidest links I've ever read in my life. I don't know why they would make a monster that says, hey, I can attack you for 10,000. 9, 10, 11, 12,000. I've done 13,000. He's very, 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 very stupid. Yeah, I don't know if I said stupid already, but the card is just stupid because I've been beating meta decks. Maybe it's because it's under radar a little bit still. You can get away with it right now. You know, obviously there may be some way to counteract that later, but in touching on this deck right now, Crusadia Equimax is a very, very powerful card, and he also has defense. So this deck has defense. People keep saying no it doesn't. Yes it does, and you need to pay attention to it or you're gonna get shocked a little bit. You know, people say, well, who dies the mirror for us? Well, no, he negates it. Equimax can negate one thing a turn that's face up. So it's kind of like Elemental Hero Contrast. It's not that popular of a hero, but it does the same thing where it negates a face up card. And when you can negate a face up card, then you're talking. You know, it's the same thing with one of the DDD monsters. I forget which one. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on Crusadia. Crusadia is a very strong deck. Got so many variants. You know, there's traps, mech knights, so on and so forth. There's no one way to play it. There's no best way to play it yet. You know, you may see it. I foresee 1 or 2 top players playing it just for giggles, for shoots and giggles. You know, I want to try to be a family page. But the deck is very interesting. That's a little touch up and a little small review on what Crusadia can do and what ways to take it. The world is your oyster. Shuck it. YG, baby. We got Cyber Dragon stuff coming as well, and I wanted to let you see the field center for yourself. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's so blinged out that it like blinded by the light. Yeah, you see it. Yeah, it's crispy. It's crispy. Shout out to Kaveh Futron for doing that. Come to me if you need the field centers. If you want one, just hit your boy up on Facebook. Hit your boy up on the page. We'll get to you as fast as possible. Look out for Cyber Dragon videos coming. And then in a couple weeks, Shadows of Valhalla reviews, blah, 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 blah. Just stay tuned. YG, baby.